Hello, Megan and I are going to be talking about the Yoruba people today. They're a culture group from Western Nigeria.
So, the majority of the Yoruban population has historically been in Yorubaland, which is found in western Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. Yorubaland has one of the highest populations in Nigeria, and they are one of the three main ethnic groups of Nigeria. But today, the Yoruba people have spread across the world.
You can kind of see on the images below where Yoruba is in relation to Nigeria. It's kind of on the southwestern side of it. Um, and here it is in Africa. So the spread of the people today, it's kind of all over the world. The major locations with these Yoruba people are obviously Nigeria. It's the highest population of Yoruba people in the world because that's where they originated from. Benin, right next to that, is 1.6 million. Brazil, Togo, and Ghana. And then some other locations with a significant population, but not quite as major, is the United States, Ivory Coast, Niger, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Italy.
The language falls under the Niger-Congo family language, which is a subgroup of the Atlantic Congo languages. This is the largest family of languages in Africa. The Yoruban language is native to Nigeria, Benin, and Togo, and it has over 30 dialects, which is often characterized by the region. So there's the northwestern Yoruban or Yoruba, northeast Yoruba, central Yoruba, southeast Yoruba, and southwest Yoruba.
Some notable Yoruban people that many of you may have heard of. Nas and Wale are two famous songwriters, producers that are Yoruban in descent, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the famous Buck and Laker, and Hakeem Olajuwon, the famous basketball player for the Houston Rockets. All these people it was interesting to see that they came from the Yoruba culture.
So Abarisha is the main religion of the Yoruba people. The definition of the word simply means to worship a deity or a god. They view natural forces, elements, the consciousness of a person or gods, which give rise to personification of water, humans, trees, and every other entities around us as God or person. They often practice various religions, including Christianity and Muslim. Um, it, it is very rare to find a Yoruba family that does not have Christians, Muslims, and adherents of more traditional and ancient tribal faiths in their ranks. So, like, long story short, the Yoruba people sometimes worship like a god or can worship many gods.
Yoruba art is an important part of their culture. It's extensively linked to religion and philosophy, which is very important in their beliefs. Some art forms include wood carving. You can see this little figure right up here. Mask making, like the top left picture, is an example of a mask that they may have made. Leatherworking and bead embroidery, weaving, and painting. Most of their resources for their artwork is often found through vegetation, so like the ground plants or sticks and tree branches and things like that.
Music is also kind of like important in their culture too. Um, the Yoruba people play different drums and tunes for different occasions. They verbalize their music with different tones and rhythms. And kind of like I was just saying about, it's a big part of their culture. Music is also a big part of celebrations and religious ceremonies. We included just a little video here of kind of like a dance with some music in the background.
Now we'll start getting into some of the Yoruban cuisine, so a lot of the foods that this culture eats. The first item on the menu is moi moi, which is a softer food made from black-eyed beans or honey beans. It's like this top picture here. It's commonly eaten by the Yoruban culture, and it's often eaten with a side dish of some sort. Akara is very similar to moi moi, but it's fried, and it's only made when a person 70 years or older dies in the community. So this food is kind of special to the Yoruban culture. Iforero is a soup made of vegetables. I don't know how appealing this bottom picture is, but that's kind of an example. It's usually mixed with stockfish, crayfish, or other kinds of meat, and other things like vegetable oil and yams, etc.
So to continue on with the cuisine or food, in the top left picture on the screen, um, the Iwudu is a native soup that can be mixed with other native soups or stew. And then on the just below that picture is the pounded yam, which is kind of like the outside dish. It's commonly eaten with other dishes and is very traditional to many cultures in Nigeria too. And then on the right is the amala, which is made out of yam or cassava. It is one of the most popular foods of the Yoruba people and is also commonly eaten among different cultures too.
Now, finally, we'll wrap it up with a couple of interesting facts about the Yoruban culture. So, Yoruban people actually have the highest number of twins in the world. So, if you're looking to have twins, you might want to find yourself a husband or wife from Yoruban descent. A typical Yoruba child can bear as many as 16 different names. I looked a little bit into like the naming systems um, of the Yoruban culture, and it was pretty interesting. There's like five different subgroups of names that they can fit into. It's pretty complicated, but there's a lot of different names, and a child can have as many as 16. Before a marriage is arranged, a man chooses a woman he wants to marry, and then a middleman, or sort of like a wingman almost, interacts with that woman to find out more about her and to inform her that she was picked by the other guy. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, we usually don't typically see things starting off like that, but maybe that's where wingman came from. Finally, the Oba family has the rights to a certain drum beat, and anyone else who dances to it can actually be arrested. So I thought that was pretty interesting and quite quite the penalty for somebody dancing to a drum. It just shows how much of a influence their music has on their culture. And that's our sources. So I hope you learned a lot about the Yoruban culture, and hopefully you enjoyed the presentation.